Hello there, this is my tilt and telescopic steering column for my 1968 Cadillac Eldorado. Well, I was trying to replace the turn signal cam, but guess what? I was sold the wrong one. Turns out you can't get the right one. None of these parts are made for tilt and telescopic. So, I'm kind of screwed, but the closest thing to a fix I found is to get this part from the entire switch assembly for a reproduced switch assembly for a non-tilt and telescopic steering column. Gotta drill that out and tap a screw apparently. Yeah, this sucks. I am going to show you the reverse process of taking apart the steering column since I've already done it. Well, here I have this tool from O'Reilly for steering wheel lock plates, I believe. Let's see. Steering wheel lock plate remover. So, this piece here threads on right there. Then you get this tool. There's no threads on the end. That's supposed to lock the telescopic function of the steering column. But you thread it into this all the way. You put the tool up against there. You thread that nut down and it pushes on. It holds the spring down. So you have a C-clip you got to put in there. Alright, so now I have the spring compressed with this tool. And I'm now trying to put this clip in. This disc here, the horn ring, I believe, does go on a certain way because there's a couple of lobes on the side. I believe it does something with the turn signal cam. So, I'm going to have to push this on. Can't record while doing it. Alright, so I got this horn ring back on. You may have to take a few tries to line it up right, because this clip only goes on one way. The left side is thinner. The right side's a bit thicker. So. Alright, so I've got the steering wheel back on. I don't think you have to press it on. There's splines on there you have to line up. And whenever you disassemble this, you should use an alignment mark like this. It has to be on the hub here and the shaft. I kind of did it wrong, so I'm guessing where it goes, but my alignment was a little off, so it's a little to the right. Now, I put the nut on. I don't know the torque spec. I might ugga-dugga it. Alright, so now I'm going to be putting the lock back on for the telescopic function. But first, there's a couple screws here. You want to make sure those are tight. Now, take the lever, put it back in there, and then this just screws into the shaft. I would say it's easy, but for some reason it's not, so I'm probably going to be using channel locks to thread this back in after starting the threads by hand. So just get this all the way in until it locks, and then you'll screw the lever on. Alright, so now I've got this lever back on. It's in the lock position. It can't telescope. Switch it over. It can telescope, so that's good. I got a couple of new star washers on here. They're a little big. They were size 8, so I'd assume the proper size would be number 6. So now it's time to get the horn pad on. I accidentally broke this little push nut for that one, so I got a couple of other push nuts on there. Alright, so I've got my steering wheel all put back together. I screwed my turn signal lever back in. There are 3 screws on the back, and there, down at the bottom, and on the left side. Horn works. Okay, so I didn't get a video of pulling the steering wheel off of the shaft. But basically, once you have the telescoping lock off, well, you'll thread a couple of 5/16 by 18 bolts into the hub of the steering wheel. Then you'll snug this down to the center. And the way you pull it off of the shaft is you don't tighten the center bolts, but you tighten the other bolts that screw into the hub. Because if you tighten this one, it could mess up the threads that the telescoping lock goes into.